You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Bonjour. Sava. Sanbonani. Goeiemorgen. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. Great to be in your company once again this morning. Thanks for joining the 702 family. I hope your day will be great. Vandaag. I think it will definitely be great for those who are tired of their bundles of joy. Because it's back to school today, and my goodness, aren't you happy? I mean, your kids don't have to know this, but aren't you happy that they are back to school? You know, I spent a few days with my nephews. One is 3 months old, another is 3 years old, and I'm telling you, I wasn't even the primary caregiver because their parents were there, their grandparents were there, my sister was there, but I got so exhausted in just a day because these little ones will terrorize you. They demand so much of your attention. They demand so much of your care. So parents, I know how it feels just a little bit, but I want you to be honest with me this morning. How do you feel now that they're back to school? Are you relieved? Because it's okay to be relieved, right? This is a safe space. Being relieved doesn't mean you don't love your kids. Or maybe you're sad. Maybe it was difficult for you to see them to school this morning. How do you feel as a parent about your children going back to school? Are you excited for your kids who started grade 1 or who started perhaps in high school today? Teachers, how are you feeling as well? Did you miss your learners? Bongani was telling me, Bongani Bingwa, my colleague this morning, was telling me that what he's excited about is that his daughter's program is going to wind down because all he's been doing during the school break was do drop-offs, fetch the kids, because they get so busy and you get exhausted with just the drop-offs and the pickups. Are you happy that they're back to school? Give me a call on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. We can talk about them while they're still in school, eh? What do you think of the military drills that we have planned with Iran, Russia, and China this week? So there are reports suggesting that our government has asked Iran to withdraw from the drills because America is upset. The Iranian Navy deployed 3 vessels to False Bay last week, but reports suggest that they have since been withdrawn from the exercise. Apparently the president is the one who ordered that they be withdrawn from the BRICS naval exercises and be an observer like other countries. And look, military drills are standard. We've spoken about this before when America was upset that we did drills with China and Russia. This is how many years ago? 3 years ago, probably. I remember this because I even interviewed the U.S. ambassador at the time, Ambassador Bridgetti, about this. But this is standard practice. We do military drills with many countries that we have bilateral relations with. But the timing of this military exercise is a bit off. And I wonder what you think about that. Should we even care about timing? I mean, the US is upset that we're hosting these military drills with its adversaries. But should the US enemies be our enemies? Because I don't particularly agree with that perception. Because the US tells us not to cozy up to Russia. But guess what they do? President Trump rolls up the red carpet for President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. So America must not tell us who to be friends with because we don't do the same to them. And they've got double standards. Because they'll tell you not to cozy up with someone, but they roll up the red carpet for them. Having said that, I do think that we must be strategic and be able to balance interests. And I think this time around, with the military exercises with countries that include Iran, may have been a miscalculation given the timing. What do I mean by timing? You may have picked up that the House of Representatives in the US has approved a 3-year extension of AGOA. They did that this week with a 2/3 majority. And yes, it's obviously too early to celebrate because the bill still needs to go through the Senate, which is where there's likely to be more scrutiny on South Africa. But this step of the House of Representatives is something to acknowledge. Both Republicans and Democrats agreed in the House of Representatives that AGOA must be extended. But there are political issues here that have already been put on the table by some Republicans in the Senate. I mean, I saw the chair of, the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Republican Jim Risch. He was questioning the military drills that we're engaging in with Russia, China, and Iran. And his argument is that South Africa can't claim non-alignment and still host drills with America's enemies, chief adversaries. So these military drills will make the negotiations worse for South Africa, even the negotiations that we've been holding around the tariffs. And that may influence what we're doing in these drills, may influence how the Senate votes. Because make no mistake, Democrats are also concerned about how close we are with countries like China, Russia, and more so Iran. So this is not only a concern coming from the Republican side. So my question then to you is, do you think the president was right to call, if indeed he did, to ask for Iran to withdraw from the military drills? Do you think that was the right call? Do you understand the timing may be off? Or do you think that South Africa must hold firm and do whatever it wants to do, even though there may be some consequences down the line? 011-883-0702. Give me a call on that line or send a WhatsApp. I'm interested in your views on 072-702-1702.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement. Mine are going back tomorrow, and I cannot wait. I was telling them actually last night that, guys, just to be in a house where it's quiet and I don't have to hear mama, mama, mama. That is all I need for this week before I go back to work. So yeah, I'm really excited, but I think I'm just worried about them because they're starting in new schools. So yeah, I just am hoping that they settle in well. But other than that, I'm really happy.
Yeah, and isn't it crazy how, yes, you get happy that they're gone to school, but you miss them incredibly. And I think that's how I feel as well with my nephews, is I'll get tired of them, but as soon as I'm away from them, a few hours later or a day later, I miss them so much. Which is why I don't know how you parents do it. I really don't. You guys are really brave. To have little ones like that in your house every single day? Yeah, you are really brave, I tell you.
Morning, Clement. Good to talk to you in 2026. Clement, for me, I believe let wisdom prevail. Being told what to do and what not to do as a government by another government, it's not nice. It's not on, actually. But you choose your battle. I mean, what's the point of being arrogant about certain things and you get sanctioned and you get all those measures, meted against you, and you suffer the consequences. In the most cases, I mean, in the most important thing, it's for our economy and the people to thrive and people to be able to put the bread on the table. So yeah, certain things you're gonna have to be wise about them and just let them slide. It's not nice, yes. It bruises your ego as a government, but you choose smart. You just have to be smart, and it's a reality. In an ideal world, it shouldn't be like that, but in reality, This is it.
You bruise your sovereignty ego, if we can call it that. Look, I've always been clear. I do think that powerful countries have a tendency to abuse their power and take advantage of your more smaller developing countries, if you will. And I do think we have to be very careful of that. I agree. That's why I'm saying timing right now is off, because the House of Representatives was voting on AGOA. The Senate is about to vote in AGOA. And it's in the Senate where Republicans are quite hectic and critical of South Africa. So the timing is off from that perspective. But America has raised issues with us hosting military drills with China and Russia already 3 years ago. And we do this every year, by the way, with countries we've got bilateral relations with. They've complained before, even when Iran was not part of it. I remember us having this conversation on the open line. But America cannot tell us who to do drills with. They cannot tell us who we must cozy up with, because my issue is they are not consistent. So they'll tell you, how dare you host the Chinese president or the Russian president, and then they do it. And my worry is the minute you are so receptive to the instructions of America, the next time they're going to tell you that we don't like Cyril Ramaphosa, he must go. What do you then do? Or if we go to elections and we elect Julius Malema as the next president, the EFF, we elect the EFF or the MK party and whatever, and the next president becomes Julius Malema and America says we will not accept that. What do you do then? Look at what they've done in Venezuela. You think Venezuela is ever going to experience democracy for as long as the Trump administration is in office? That's never going to happen. Even if they go to elections tomorrow, they must still select somebody to be president that America approves of. We need to be very careful of that. Otherwise, we're skating on thin ice. That doesn't mean that we must not be cautious and not be strategic. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying let's balance things out. We must be strategic and balance things, and I don't think Iran necessarily must be part of these drills now, given the timing and also given what's happening in Iran. Those protests and the people that are being killed. But I don't think that America must be the one that makes that call for us. We, as a sovereign state, must be able to say, okay, this is a decision that we're taking because we think it's strategic to go this route.
Clement, this is Tulani from Potchefstroom. I just don't understand the logic in the first place to have those military drills. It frustrates me even more to then find out that the ANC chickened out basically and instructed Iran not to participate. Why were they here in the first place? Why? Did they not anticipate that there might be blowback if they invited Iran? Were they sleeping on the job? Did they forget about the military drill and that Iran was invited? I mean, I just don't understand the logic. Please, can someone tell me? Thank you.
But the thing is, we have bilateral relations with Iran. The same way that we have bilateral relations with Russia, with America, with the UK. So what are you suggesting then? Because either we've got relations with Iran or we don't. And if we do, and there are bilateral relations, then we're going to have to do what we do with other countries we have relations with, if we wish so. Or if we don't want to relate with Iran, then let's stop our bilateral relations. Then we shouldn't have relations then with that country. But you can't have your cake and eat it. Decide. It's either they are your friend, or they are a country that you have relations with, or they are not. But you can't say, oh, they're a country we have relations with, but we're not going to have meetings with them. We're not going to meet their leaders. And. I remember the time when the South African chief of the SNDF, remember when he went to Iran, met with the military minister there in Iran and started talking about how, they're against imperialism, and they mentioned even Israel there. Do you remember that? We spoke about it. Our chief of the SANDF met with Iran's army commander, and they both agreed that they both shared a common goal of fighting the global arrogance and aggressive colonial approach. They slammed Washington and Tel Aviv, and then Kimang, the Minister of Defense, Enji Motshekga, then comes and says, Minister Enji Motshekga says, that was wrong. The SANDF chief shouldn't have done that. She released a statement. And then comes back, defends the chief of the SANDF. And this is after the presidency came out and said, that wasn't advisable, what happened there. Oh, and now there are reports. I read on News 24. I read an article suggesting that the president issued an instruction to Enji Motshekga to say, tell Iran to withdraw. And apparently Enji Motshekga may have somehow refused to take that instruction from the president. That's the story I read on News 24. I'm not too convinced of that because, who's the ultimate chief of the army? Who's the commander-in-chief of the SANDF? That's President Cyril Ramaphosa. So why can't the instruction come directly from him? Or does it need to go through NG? I don't know. But that's what was being reported. Basie, you're calling us from Johannesburg. What are your thoughts?
What's up, Clem Zozo?
Hey, Tada. How are you?
Compliments of the new season, Clem Zozo.
Sure, brother. Go ahead.
And thank you for your beautiful show. I'm thinking right now the world is going through this drastic change. It's evolutionary change. America wants to have its footprint on Greenland, on the North Americans, and also towards the South Americans. You heard Trump. He was like, listen, the western corner of the world belongs to us, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And there's this kind of militant, authoritarian attitude towards the world. The world leaders are pussies. And I'm sorry, none of them are doing anything about it.
Wait,
Trump
did you say bullies or the other way? What word?
They are pussies.
Basically, we can't say that. We can't say that word on the radio.
Well, you've got those technology that goes whatever.
Well, we can't do that because this is not pre-recorded. Let me apologize on your behalf to the listeners who may be offended by that.
I apologize to the whole world that's listening and the listeners.
Go ahead.
But this is how I am. I tell it like it is. But Donald Trump is going to take over the world, my brother, if we are not careful. We kind of there's a repetition of what happened in Germany. Look what's going on in America with the ICE. They are killing themselves from inside, and then this thing is going to go to Greenland. They are going to take over Greenland. It's a fact. And the reason why is because their military is so huge, and they've got new technology that they want to test. What's the point of creating weapons and they're just sitting in the garage? What's the point of
creating engineering? They don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons, and they tell them no.
Because of the oil. That's because of the oil. They don't want Iran oil to come that side so that they can use the Venezuelan oil to counter the post-war that they're doing with Iran.
Isn't this what's happening with any other powerful country, though, basically? Because Trump wants America to be in control of that entire Western Hemisphere. China, what China is doing in Taiwan. You know what Russia is doing in Ukraine. So it's almost like you've got all of these powerful countries who are just trying to protect their territory and also choose whether they want to expand.
Changing the face of the world. Yeah. What do you think? Don't you think that Xi Jinping and Trump and what's his name? Putin are sitting there going, hey, listen, bro, now I'm going to love my...
We've just lost him there. Let's see if we can get him back. I don't know what happened there, but the line got cut. Vusi, in the meantime, let's hear what you've got to say. You're calling from Johannesburg. Good morning.
Hi, Clement.
Sure.
Yeah, look, my opinion is that the U.S. is being very steady. They are being very hypocritical, and effectively, by bowing to their demands, we are creating a monster that you yourself were describing. What stops them from effecting regime change? And I actually want to I know there's members of our society that are yearning for a similar intervention because of their deep hatred of the current government or party. But if America can actually go against its own friends, the Danish, in taking Greenland, what stops them from, So they cannot be taken seriously, really. And then also this AGOA, we must, maybe sometimes it's painful, but sometimes to cut the umbilical cord of such things, that dependency, will assist us in the long run to create other relations.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be painful. I'm from the Eastern Cape, in East London. Also, I heard Daimler Chrysler may cut jobs and various other places that export a lot to the US because of this AGOA crisis. However, I feel that it cannot be at the cost of our sovereignty and how we decide and how we dictate things.
Yeah, we're building a monster, I agree. And I like what you say about maybe the dependency will help us also consider other options. I don't see why we have not taken advantage of the market in Africa, Vusi. Billions. I mean, we've got so many people on this continent, and yet we've not even taken advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. We're busy obsessing about markets in Asia, in America, which, yes, I know, they've got more buying power compared, you could argue, to the people on our continent. But there are people here on the continent. Let's also take advantage of how many people we have here and use that market.
Absolutely, Clement. And that's why, for me, I just feel that this is going to be temporary pain. Even if it goes through Senate, it's still going to go to Trump too. Yeah,
it's going to end up on his desk.
So there's really no point. We must consider it lost, this AGOA. It went through this
House of Representatives, yeah.
Yes, now it's going to go through Senate. I'm sure it will go through, but Trump is going to say no because he already is building lies about us and peddling them. So fine, yeah.
Okay, Vusi in Johannesburg, thank you so much for your call. Let me quickly clarify this. The call we got earlier, because I see some people are saying, Clement, why can't we say bully? Where's media independence? That listener didn't say bully. He said the P word, which I can't repeat. He said the P word, which I can't repeat. And I don't know. And some of you may argue that, that is slang. But I do think that is quite a derogatory term, and I don't want it to be part of our lexicon when we are having conversations. I think you can still call America a bully or whatever you want to call them, but the P word so early in the morning on the radio, no. It's 9:31.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's go back to your calls and your WhatsApps. I've been asking you about kids going back to school this morning. Are you happy? Nonsikelelo says, Clement, I am so happy that they're back to school. They're hoovers and they clean the fridge. In the morning, the fridge is full. By afternoon, it's empty. They sit on phones all day until 3 a.m. in the morning. And you can't really regulate that and say, go study because they're on a break, hey? And I suppose that's what makes it a bit tricky. Another one on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, I dropped my 2.5-year-old twins at school this morning. Metaphorically, it feels like I just had a massage. Really? It feels like I just had a massage. Like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Like I've just won the lotto. The festive season was hard to entertain them every day and keep them busy all day long every day. I love my kids, but I love my sanity too. I have so much respect for my parents and all other parents before me. Hats off to them. That is so funny.
Madi Major, Happy New Year. New school calendar as well. No, December the kids were away on holidays by the grandparents and homelands, if we call it that way. So we didn't really get time to spend with them around Gauteng. So it's a normal day. It's a normal thing. Just happy that they are back. will see them every day now compared to the festive period. Thank you.
Today is my daughter's last first day of school, and it is quite daunting to think that she is through school and that our schedule is going to change up so much after this year. I think while we're in it, we're busy and we get quite annoyed at times because we run around like headless chickens most of the time. But to have our kids in our houses is just such a privilege.
Yeah, hey. And then Zola on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, I'm super happy that my kids are back at school today. I've been waiting for this day since I went back to work 2 weeks or so ago. I need a break and a breather. In fact, I'm planning to take a day or two off while they're back at school to do me without them. Oh man, I get it. I really do get it. 20 minutes before 10.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
John, you calling from Four Ways. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement.
Hey, Tada.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy.
Mama Tej, look, I think Tina, we like talking about sovereignty as a country. But the fact is that we can't defend it. So it's meaningless. Our soldiers just don't have arms. You know, we have over the years completely and progressively disempowered them. They've got no arms. Why? But they were there. We took them there in the DRC. They were humiliated by M23. And then they went crawling to ask for transport back home via Rwanda, which is actually supporting, the M23. So I think we need to learn. And unfortunately, we don't learn. We never learn. That's why, for example, without digressing, with regards to schooling, for the starter beginners, we have got the same problem year after year. I can tell you in 10 years' time, Clement, we'll still be having the same problem. Not enough classrooms. Why? Because we don't plan. We need to learn that, countries, don't work on goodwill. The UN is powerless. I mean, they can't protect the people in Gaza. What makes you think that if Trump decides to deal with us, Russia, held up with the war in Ukraine, China, just the distance alone, we think that those people will come and protect. They won't. And the AGOA is not the last thing, Clement. Trump can introduce sanctions. You know what that will mean? Sanctions against us. It means KFC, we like chicken. Coca-Cola. You know, what did they Ford, Apple watches, Apple phones will no longer just be there. We like driving this Ranger, especially African guys.
Yeah, but I think it's naive to think that Trump would think of sanctions without any regard to the impact on those American companies. In fact, every time he has to take a decision, he has to make a consideration about what the impact is going to be also on those companies. So this is not just a world of America where they can decide, pull out that company, pull out that. There's an impact on them too. And as much as Trump may not want to at least acknowledge it, this is a globalized world. You are not going to survive on your own. We survive because we have got relations with each other. There are things that America doesn't have that we have on this continent, that Asia has, that the Middle East has. And that's how we survive. We give each other what we don't have.
Clem, without dragging it on, you know what? Tina, we make very strategic mistake. Now, I mean, like, if now the president say he has cancelled the drill with Iran, the question is, in the beginning, was there no communication between the military and the presidency and foreign relations?
There was. But these things get planned like a year in advance.
Fine, Clement. We've been having this tension with America for a long time. And I can just tell you, Clement, in terms of economic scale, we are very small. We may think, and then other African countries, I think we must narrow to ourselves, because when we say Africa, we are wrong. Because the American base is in Botswana, for example, and Kenya. So we always talk about Africa as though there's some agreement among African states. There's no agreement, my friend.
That's true.
We must begin to think of ourselves maybe as South Africa and maybe SADC.
Okay.
Once we always think of ourselves as Africa, we're going to be very surprised. We're going to have
So what's the solution then, John? When you say we talk a lot
know
about
what?
sovereignty, should we just do whatever
Let's mind
appeases
our
America?
business. Let's mind our business for start. First, charity begins at home.
So we mustn't
Let's
have allies.
provide water to our people. Yeah.
Wait,
want to
we
solve
mustn't
them?
have
Yeah.
allies?
We must have allies. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
but
you
these
can
are
have
our
allies.
allies. So we can't have military drills with our
which one-
allies.
Which one is your
BRICS,
ally?
I mean, Russia, China.
It's fine. India. Have you ever India poking the north of America? India, which is able to go to the moon. You know, we can't provide water. We can't make robots work. And yet we want to fight the superpower. Let me tell you, if Trump decides to come and take Cyril, he will only send 2 helicopters. I'm telling you. 2 helicopters. Our soldiers will be there. His people in black cars. Those guys in his guard, they'll be the first one to run away. I'm telling you. So we must just shush and sit down.
John,
and
you must take up arms and defend your country.
No, I mean, I'm running away. I'm going to the Bundu. Kalebo want that. What does already want? You're not your
John in 4 ways. Hey, guys, you need to be patriotic. Come on, be patriotic. If he dare do that, are you gonna just just enjoy? Look, come on, look at what Ukraine did. Ukraine said to the men in Ukraine, "Come, get up. You need to come and defend your country." I've been actually asking my friends there that, guys, if Trump dared try to do that here, would you fight for your country? And a lot of them were like, I'm not sure. Where is the patriotism? Huh?
Morning, Clement. No, man, I just want to ask, America, are we our own government, or America is governing us? Why can't we make decisions that will benefit the people of our country? Because America is making policies and decisions that benefits America. So why can't we South Africans make decisions on our own? Why? What's happening? Because even Tate Mandela, when he was still alive, he asked, who made America the police of the world? I'm asking that also. Because last year, they did not even come to that G20, whatever that was happening in our country. So what's with America? Are they the kings of the world? What's happening? Hi, call.
Morning, Clement. This is Michael from Centurion. Clement, with Iran, it's a very dicey operation, because the Iranians, they don't want their government anymore. I mean, just look at the protests. Just look at what's happening now in Iran. They don't want their government anymore. Then we, become friends with their government. It's a bit of a dicey situation. It's a problem. It's a serious problem, my brother. Yeah, thanks. It's Michael from Centurion. Happy New Year, my brother.
Morning, listeners, and morning, Clement. What I think is that we should have continued with our drills with Iran, China, and Russia. No country can dictate to us who we do drills with, because America does drills with anyone they wish to. They had drills with China before. I don't know how long back it was. But my main point here is we found a lot of vulnerabilities within our Navy due to these drills. And this is for our own national security and to upgrade our forces. So for us to be involved in, involved in America's scramble for power, that's none of our business. If America's fighting with Iran, that's their problem. We're not fighting with Iran. The Iranians never did anything to us. So I think we should have continued with the military drills, the Navy drills with Iran, and hopefully it's not the truth that they told Iran to withdraw, because these are the people we are going to need when the time comes, because the time is coming. Thank you very much.
Yeah, when the time comes, because the time is coming. Huh? And that's scary, because that may very well be a reality, because there's a man in charge there in America who could do anything. Even his own vice president doesn't know what he could do tomorrow. Even his own chief of staff doesn't know what he could announce in the next minute. Do you know how crazy that is? You think it's just going to stop in the Western Hemisphere with Cuba, with Greenland, with Venezuela? I mean, if it gets to the other countries, you think it would end there? What stops him from saying, oh, how about the African continent? How about that southern tip looks really interesting? And we are being told we shouldn't have allies, even when the world increasingly looks like it's heading towards World War III. You think you're going to survive without allies? Wasn't it Mandela who said, what did Mandela say again? He said, your enemy is not my enemy. But that's what America expects from us. Their enemies must be our enemy. Can we say that to them? And sure, we're not the same. They're more powerful. They're a superpower. And this is Animal Farm. But is that fair? Be careful of the monster that you create by consistently becoming a small little country that just takes instructions from another country and doesn't respect and stand firm on its sovereignty. You are creating a monster that you don't know will decide tomorrow about your little country. Be very careful.
Morning, Clement. Yes, AGOA is definitely a consideration, especially from the economic point of view, but surely nothing to do with the American US government and pressure put on South African government, but surely we can be sympathetic to the poor people of Iran who are being killed by their own government for protesting against their terrible economic situation. We should stand in solidarity with them. That's all I have to say. Eleanor Mary, bye for now.
Thank you so much for that. Godfrey, you are in Sandton. What are your thoughts?
Clement, it's very sad, my brother. You know, it's like a man having a woman. You abuse this woman, and the next thing you tell her who to not to talk to and who to not to do what with. America, in my view, must go to the nearest hell.
Okay, meaning what? And then we cut our relations?
South Africa should proceed with what they want to do with practice. It can't be correct that South Africa now tells Iran to say you can't participate in our drill. Why? Because of America has a different view about Iran. I mean, it's very clear that Trump will never like South Africa. Trump has an issue with different countries that he disrespects. So Trump needs somebody who can tell Trump, keep peace of your American, will keep peace of our African. And the resources that are coming out of this country, America, it is what it is because of that. So they must be told to go to hell.
Yeah, it's not as easy as that, Godfrey. It really isn't. The U.S. is South Africa's top African trade partner. They rely on our minerals, and we benefit significantly from duty-free access to the U.S. market through AGOA. So when you say just go to hell, do you understand you're saying that to the people in the Eastern Cape who are working for the automobile companies? They are not going to have jobs. Gone in a week. So we have to think about consequences that we have that are going to fall on us. We live in a globalized world. Even though America treats us the way they do, I'm happy that our government is consistently trying to sit down on the table and talk to them. But you can't just tell them go to hell, because the consequences are going to be felt by you, my friend.
Clement, my brother, as an employee of Prime Media, there are things that you cannot tolerate because you are an employee who gets a salary out of Prime Media. It is what it is. And if we are going to live in a world where we normalize wrong things because of you are giving something that I should allow you to trample on me because of when you've got upper hand, in my view, tit for tat. That's it.
I think, okay, Godfrey says tit for tat. I think that's in a globalized world, I think that's a bit naive. I don't think that would work for us. America is a powerful country, and like any other powerful country, it wants to exercise and assert its authority Isn't China trying to do that with Taiwan? Isn't Russia trying to do that with Ukraine? These are powerful countries. And when you're a powerful country, you want to assert your authority, but also you want to assert and stay firm on your territory. That's it. That's why Putin doesn't want NATO to be in his backyard. That's why he wants to ensure that territory in and around me is safe. China wants to protect itself too. America wants to protect itself too. That's why it wants to be in control and have influence over the Western Hemisphere. But to just say, go to hell, I don't know how that helps us. Lebohang, you are in Johannesburg. What are your thoughts?
So I think for me, clearly the world order is changing.
It has changed,
right now,
Lebohang. We're no longer talking about changing. It's changed.
Well, the point is what you are seeing is that, the way that we thought we are going to engage with the world, because in a lot of ways, sense has left the building and there is jostling for power. I think for me, we need to be asking ourselves, what do you gain by any action that you take? And I think for me, what I am missing in our response is, where does Africa stand? Not one country in Africa. Where does Africa stand in geopolitics? All of these Western powers are standing because of the minerals, including with renewable energy, the minerals that are going to be largely found in Africa. Africa has been found wanting in sending raw materials and buying them back as finished products. So knee-jerk responses right now, when the world order is changing, and individual country actions, when we are not uniting as Africa, for me, is what is said. But if we are to look at South Africa, our sovereignty, for me, is much more important than anything. Because if we start saying we do this because we don't want to make so-and-so angry, I think the day of what makes America angry, I think the weather can change and America can be angry and change its international policy. It hasn't followed any logic or any multilateral engagement. It has thrown the rule book out. And for any views that says, oh, they are a superpower. I listened to one of your callers who were talking about iPhone. Do you know that even the iPhone is not made in America? It's marketed by America. It's not made in America. So it's interesting for me how we throw away power because we've watched many movies and if we are worried about trade, have we sat down as Africa and said, if we improved trade amongst ourselves with all the natural resources, if we did beneficiation in Africa,
Lebohang, they've been talking about it for decades. Beneficiation, they don't do it.
Because we are sitting with, and I'm sorry to say this, with leaders who are wannabe Americans, who wanna be the North, and so I think for me, I say do not waste a crisis, Africa. Look at what this moment is. Maybe we've spoken about it, because even when we negotiate issues around climate justice, we go with a begging bowl. We go divided. We go with asking, when in fact the minerals that are going to even change this climate issue are going to come from us. They are going to come from Africa. Instead, our African leaders are out there selling deals without involving the public, because we've replaced, colonialists with black colonialists. The rule book has not changed since we've become free. The same economic system that did not benefit us as a majority have not changed. That is why right now we think America ever liked us. We think the North ever played fair. It never has. Open your eyes. The world economy is built on the back of Africa. And if we are not going to be using this moment to say, hey, Thank God the rule book has been thrown out of the window. Let's create an Afrocentric rule book. That, for me, is the conversation I would like to have. Not this one of, is America angry? Is it not angry? Is America happy? It could be raining today and they decide they don't like us. Or the sun has come out. Or we are breathing. They don't like us. The rule book is out in international politics right now.
And what are we going to do about it as the African continent? Lebohang, I wouldn't have said it better. I have said many times how disappointed I am of the African Union. I mean, intra-Africa trade agreement. When did we at least establish that? And have we really sufficiently taken advantage of it? We really haven't. So we've had so many crises. We've got had so many crises. We've never thought of using that to speak in one voice and to do and take decisions that benefit this African continent. It's a sad state of affairs. It's 10 minutes before 10.